Oh, wow. What a game. What a game in Ann Arbor. The game lived up to the game. So the game happened, and the game was fantastic. The game was tremendous. Ohio State loses to Michigan for the third straight year. 30-24 is the final in Ann Arbor. A lot to take away from it. Very emotional fourth quarter of this game. Watched it from the third quarter on. Michigan offense was just absolutely elite. Like Blake Corum had himself a day. J.J. McCarthy made timely big plays, but Michigan football really runs it on you. Really good stretch runs, had the running back pass. So Ohio State and Jim Knowles, they just couldn't control the game. Michigan scored on, I believe, like 5 out of 7 drives to end this thing. And Kyle McCord and Ohio State's offense actually made some plays in this game. Down by 10, Kyle McCord threw a great ball to Ibuka on the right sideline, and then Kyle McCord was able to hit Marvin Harrison for the touchdown. So Kyle McCord made timely plays. He threw for over like 220 yards, I want to say. They put up 24 points. Ohio State's offense was red hot. If Ohio State's defense could have given them the ball back, they would have been able to run the ball with Trayvon Henderson, but really it was that 8-minute drive. An epic 8-minute drive. Michigan was able to get 4 or 5 yards on the ground, and then they were able to just straight up run edge runs for first downs, and this was even without Zach Zinter. Just a tremendous performance by Michigan's offense. And really, Jim Knowles in this defense, I don't think they created turnovers, and they don't make explosive plays. They weren't able to get to J.J. McCarthy. McCarthy protected it well. McCarthy, like, even though he didn't make like the 35-yard flashy throws, he makes timely throws. Like that 3rd and 2 throw to extend the drive at the end of the game, his accuracy, the way that he's able to be mobile, it's hard to play Michigan, and Ohio State's defense is a very good defense. I mean, this year they've been fantastic. They're a tougher team. They were able to run the football a little bit more. They went up to Ann Arbor, and they had a chance. They had a chance in the final possession to win. They were 40 yards away from winning. But really, let's go back to Michigan. I mean, I know that Jim Harbaugh's not there, but it's 3rd and 4, and you need 4 yards to win the game, and you're up by 3. Honestly, I would have put it in, J.J. McCarthy's hands. I mean, Michigan, a couple of times in this game, for how good their offense was, they got really conservative. Like Michigan, and it still paid out. So sometimes when you're reckless, being conservative is better than being reckless. Michigan up by 7. Instead of throwing it past the sticks on 3rd and 6 after a great drive, they throw a screen pass and Ohio State blows it up. Then, if you're talking to any Buckeye fan, and you're probably getting the pulse of a Buckeye fan, what they want you to do on 3rd and 4 there with the timeout situation is they want you to run the football. And they want you to just yield a field goal there and give the ball back to Kyle McCord. And that's exactly what happened. Michigan, instead of having the killer instinct to go win the game, instead of rolling out J.J. McCarthy, who's so elusive with his legs, J.J. McCarthy can also make big-time throws. They don't do that, and they don't go for the win. They pretty much just go for the field goal to go up 6. And by the way, sometimes being up 6 is worse because guess what happens? The offense can then go beat you. So I know that it really worked out for Michigan's favor because Michigan was able to get an interception. But really, Ibuka, if he catches that ball cleanly, Ohio State's in a good rhythm. I'll tell you, that Booth review, it really helped Michigan get their legs under them on that final drive. It ruined the rhythm for Ohio State. But also, like, on 4th and 4, I actually would have gone for the game. Now, Ohio State would have likely maybe even tied in, and maybe you could have criticized that decision. But I love going for the game, and I really thought Ohio State was going to win. And if not for a pressure on a throw like that, Kyle McCord was rolling, Ohio State might have just ended up winning the game. So, I really think that on 3rd and 4, that's where they really made their mistake, is you got to put it in McCarthy's hands to go win the game and roll it out. And by them doing a draw play, and then on 4th and 4, if you get a really good look, I love ending the game. I hate giving the game. I hate giving the other team the football. So that's a pet peeve. So Michigan was conservative, but Michigan won. Michigan's defense was better. Michigan got a huge 3-and-out in the second half. The line between these two teams is razor thin, and especially on the road. And Ohio State also, they were taking their sweet old time on that second to last drive where they scored, and they scored too slow. It was 8 minutes left. They needed to go tempo in that situation. So Ryan Day started out by beating Jim Harbaugh in Michigan. He beat him when he had Justin Fields for a couple of years, but now it's been 3 straight games. And the real tough part about Ryan Day is I really think he's an elite level coach. I think it's just a matter of time before he wins the big one. The team is tougher this year. Kyle McCord's made really good strides. In fact, Kyle McCord can come back another year, and I think Kyle McCord can be a really solid, maybe top 10 quarterback in all college football if he comes back. Brian Hartline doing a nice job of calling the plays for the first time. I know you're not going to be, Marvin Harrison's not going to be there, but the amount of talent, they got like the number 1 recruit coming in wide receiver wise. Like Fleming's also a 5-star guy, a boot guy. I mean, they just have guys that are just going to fill in. That's what they do at Ohio State. So next year's game is at Ohio State. Ohio State played Notre Dame, but the Big Ten is just unfortunately a joke of a conference. I mean, other than Penn State, you have Rutgers, who's not very good. Maryland's not good. Indiana, Minnesota's so down. Illinois, Purdue, the entire West is awful. I mean, Iowa is literally like a 3-touchdown dog to Michigan next week. But the thing is about divisions that I do kind of like is that even though it does set up like a matchup that favors the east side of the division a lot, it's that this game today, the game, is so good because it was a playoff game. And Ohio State didn't get it done, and Ohio State goes home. And today's game was like a championship game. It could have been played right in the playoff, and it was played. The regular season is everything. The regular season is kind of what the playoffs are. And it was just epic. And Ohio State driving down there to win the game. Every play was big. Every time management situation. Every play was just really strategically thought out. Like what guys are going to be, catching the ball in the middle of the field, like how to utilize the tight end position for Michigan. How do you move the ball? Every play was really carefully considered. There was scoring. There was defense. This game had everything. It had tons of situational football elements to it. It was just a fantastic game. And I'm like kind of a neutral observer really when it comes to this. Like maybe I wanted to see McCord have his moment because he's been much maligned following C.J. Stroud, and seeing him, shut down the big house and having that touchdown drive at the end to go win would have just been absolutely legendary, once in a lifetime kind of stuff. But it was for naught. And Michigan gets that interception. They get the hit on McCord, and they end the game there with like 35 seconds left. So the odds of Michigan winning after that long drive, even with being conservative, Michigan still likely had the opportunities to go win. Ohio State would have still had to make throws to the end zone. So Michigan ends up getting a timely interception as the clock was dwindling down. But still, the game kind of lived up to the hype. Like Ohio State's made progress, and say that Ohio State played like an SEC schedule where Ohio State can play like an Ole Miss. Ohio State could play like a Florida and LSU. Ohio State played Notre Dame. It's one of those situations where Ohio State this year, for even how good Ohio State is, this year is a unique year where teams, I'll say this, teams outside of the top 4 can even win a national championship. So if you wanted to expand the playoff and maybe make it 5 or 6, like Ohio State, if they got into the playoff, they'd still have a good chance to win the entire playoff because they went on the road and they were a couple of plays away. If they were able to stop Michigan on that final drive, get the football back, they were a couple of plays from really winning this game. This was a pretty evenly played game. So Ohio State still has the the ability to win, but that's why you play it on the field, and that's why this was a winner-go-home game. And now Michigan and J.J. McCarthy, they're the ones. And J.J. McCarthy's on a mission to try to win a national championship. Michigan now is going to likely win the Big Ten championship, almost a 95 to 99% chance over Iowa's offense. And now Michigan's going back to the playoff as an undefeated. I mean, pure dominance from Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh has built this culture. I know he wasn't there. Sherrone Moore done it. He did a really nice job. Sherrone Moore beat Penn State and Michigan and Ohio State, so he's done a really nice job. So now Michigan is going all the way to the college football playoff again. And Jim Harbaugh, in the regular season, maybe the past 3 years, the guy might be undefeated, I believe, in like 3 years in the regular season. It's absolutely absurd what Michigan is doing under Jim Harbaugh. He was worth the money. He started out by struggling. He was on the verge of getting fired, actually, during the COVID year when he couldn't beat Ohio State at all. But the pendulum swings, and the pendulum swung now, and now he's the hero. Now he's considered like, somebody that had to sacrifice. There's a word for that. Starts with an M, I believe. And man, oh man. Harbaugh is now the king of Ann Arbor, and he's taken this Michigan program and elevated it since Brady Hoke and since Rich Rod and all of that. They're a consistent winner. They recruit the right way. Their kids are great kids. And their fan base is definitely a passionate, loyal fan base. And it was just a great scene at the Big House today. And even though I might not love Michigan, I got to give their fans so much credit. They sang Mr. Brightside and ran out on the field. And that's what college football is all about, man. It was just the game lived up to the hype. It was an epic, epic game. The game. So wrapping up this video now, I mean, as we sit here on Saturday, 4:00 on Saturday, we got the Iron Bowl going on, Alabama and Auburn. Alabama likely going to win, but let's see if that ends up panning out. And then tonight is Florida and Florida State, and really the Oregon, the Texas, and Alabamas of the world, they're all rooting for Florida State to lose. I think Ohio State is done, unfortunately. I like that they scheduled Notre Dame out of conference. Great win on the road there, but not winning a conference championship. You have Washington, Alabama, and Texas. They're all, and Oregon. So you're going to be dealing with conference champions, and unfortunately for Ohio State, that's how it all is going to likely pan out, is that they're not going to win. They're going to be sitting at home for the playoff. But Ryan Day still undefeated, I believe, versus the rest of the Big Ten Conference. So the idea of getting rid of Ryan Day, I think it's pretty crazy. Now, is Ryan Day going to get overly stressed or frustrated with the expectations at Ohio State? Does he want to go to A&M? That's a Ryan Day decision, but I believe Ryan Day's offense is still really good. They're going to get really good quarterback competition even in there for Kyle McCord, and I think Kyle McCord is functioning at a pretty high level right now. And that program is like a couple of plays away from winning national titles. So you have a top 5, top 4 program there, and he has that place churning and recruiting at an extremely, extremely high clip. And eventually he's going to win a championship. He's kind of like Andy Reid. And then once he wins 1, once he wins 2, then all of the conversation about Ryan Day never winning the big game will likely go away. Now, of course, Ryan Day's going to have to coach. We'll see. Pray for good health for Ryan Day and really hope and pray that there's no off-field scandals. And if he stays at Ohio State, which I think he will, I believe that he's going to be a champion someday. I really do. I don't think that there's this perpetual choke artist ability about Ryan Day. I love how the team was built more physical. Even today, they went up to Michigan and they played physical. Now, there are a couple of defensive line positions away. They need to recruit the edge position better. Their linebackers at times got picked apart. Their defense is just not elite. And if their defense can be elite, they're going to win. So, and you have to analyze Knowles as well. Like Jim Knowles, a little bit older, but is Jim Knowles, is he the best of the best? He's made it a really solid, good defense. I think he's probably going to keep his job. It's just, it sucks kind of for Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan that the conference doesn't provide the spark. But now with Oregon and Washington, now for Ohio State fans specifically, I like that the Pac-12 had the Pac-12, but now for Ryan Day, he's going to like it because the playoff will expand, but he'll also get more opportunities than just one game. Like, he can go out there and win every game 60-0 and be a perfect coach, which is almost what he's been, and then he's just going to get judged on this one contest. But now, if he gets to play Washington and Oregon and the playoff field expands to 8, you get more mulligans at it, and you also get more chances. So that's kind of like how it's going to work out. But anyway, guys, what a game. What a game. And everybody take care. And enjoy the rest of your Saturday. College football Saturday. Enjoy it, guys.